You have performed in the Coliseum? I have always wanted to see the Circuit Maximus deeds up close.
They have weak points, as does every opponent.
You don't mean you have destroyed one before?
Stay out of the Colosseo, girl. You wouldn't have the stomach for it.
Hey guys, my name is Mushroom, Mush, Shroomster, Mushroomy. I have a lot of different names, and I just really like lore. Well, didn't expect that to happen yesterday. We got a new short story the other day, called The Upper Hand. This one I think is going to be setting up a lot for heroes, and also just kind of the last couple pieces of the story moving into whatever happens next with Vendetta, and shows Vendetta gaining yet another ally alongside Maximilian. I'm going to be breaking this one down and talking about some wider scope lore and Vishkar ideas I have as well. But as a side note, before we get too deep into it, I'm planning to stream the Spotlight tomorrow with my friends. Stop by if you want to see the lore fans react in real time. Now, let's break down the story real quick before going into Vishkar ideas and thoughts. Vendetta invited a high member of Vishkar, the vice president named Vara, or Domina as the description calls her, to a meeting in the Coliseum. Here, the two discuss business, and Vendetta brings up the rough past Vishkar has. From Lucio and his rebellion, to Lifeweaver, and even the events of London Calling with the sonar tech being used on Omnix. Knowing Vishkar would hate for it to become public that they work with Talon, Vendetta proposes the idea of an alliance, Vishkar and Vendetta's forces. To which, Domina agrees, and the two decide to form a partnership. Vishkar joins forces with Vendetta, and the two seem to be getting ready to take down Doomfist. So with this one, there wasn't a ton of like a full-on story. It was more of a one-on-one conversation, but it does kind of put the final piece in place for where things are going to be going in the future. But before we get too deep into that, I do want to just talk about Domina for a bit, and also Vishkar. So Domina's design can kind of be seen in this image, and she seems super regal and upper class. People mentioned how you can see a giant robot arm or some type of third arm with her regular ones, so she seems to have at least one extra limb, but I would say two. Just makes more sense with the whole symmetry thing. But as well, the Vishkar lighting on her and the patterns all over her clothes just kind of tell me this is totally a new Vishkar character and probably a really important person in the faction itself. I wouldn't be surprised if this is even a hero teaser in some way. But I'll explain more about why I think she might be a hero teaser in a bit. Domina really gives off this air of royalty or regal in a sense that she's pretty high up, so I'm really curious how she feels about Talon's kind of inner workings. She mentioned Sanjay in this, which I'll also talk about in a bit, but it does seem like Vishkar really operates under her eye. So I'm also really curious who exactly is in charge if she's the vice president. As a refresher on Vishkar as well real quick, here's a little summary. Vishkar was a pre-crisis organization, known for helping people in cities across the globe with housing, food, and water issues. They even developed the hard light technology and use it in a lot of their buildings. Though, after the founder's death, the company gradually became more and more shady, eventually reaching a stage of general distaste from the public. The faction has really taken a loss after loss over the years, from Zen and Sim's short story way back in the day Stone by Stone, where they destroyed a sacred statue, to Lucio and his rebellion, but also the issue of Lifeweaver. Just having this architect on the run is not a very good PR move. The last major plot point that we left off with them was Symmetra. She was looking into the founder of Vishkar's death, with Lifeweaver telling her to dig deep and find out what really happened. The founder died in an accident, but now it seems more like there's something more to it. An interesting thing confirmed here as well is in London Calling. Yeah, but you didn't expect to be hearing that again. A sonar device was used on a crowd of Omnics in the story, and it seems to be from Vishkar. This could be Lucio's father's tech finally being used, and we're seeing kind of the ramifications of that. So this alone is a huge callback to London Calling, but also explains a bit why Vishkar was in Thames District, the stadium map. As well, it is really interesting and good to see Vishkar using Lucio's father's tech. It's something that we always kind of heard about, and like they had it for a little bit, but we didn't really get to see what they were doing with it, so getting more stuff like this would be really cool to see in the future. But if you didn't know about Thames District as another thing, Vishkar's in the distance on the map. I'll try to put up some gameplay in the background. But aside from those buildings being in the distance, you can see Domina's family name used on the statue in the center of the map. So it seems Thames District was a setup for Domina all along. I think all of this really shows she has to be a hero coming up. Personally, the forearms gives tank vibes to me. The focus on Vishkar's tech in this as well shows a hero to me. But Lastly, let's discuss the Sanjay in the room. Seems like Sanjay is more of a middleman between Vishkar and Talon, which does make sense. While the story doesn't directly show him, Domina and Vendetta both talk about how he's mainly in it for the raise and growth in the company. To me, this shows a distinct difference from Domina, who even comments on Sanjay a bit. Seems like Domina is going to be replacing Sanjay as our new bad Vishkar character. With this, Vendetta has Vishkar and Maximilian now confirmed to be working with her, and Widowmaker and Moira not far behind. She really has about half of Talon's inner group with her here, and another thing with Sanjay too is it's interesting that they're kind of moving him to the side here. I know a lot of people really wanted him as an upcoming hero, but I don't really know how that would work, especially with his character being more like Max in my opinion, more like a lore character, at least for now. There's always more they can do with him. I've seen the idea of Sanjay as a support in the future, which could be fun, but we'll have to see how that goes. I don't think Sanjay's done by any means, but I could see him getting pushed to the side a little bit as Domina kind of shows up and kind of fills the same role as he once did. But with all of this in mind, Vendetta now has Vishkar and Maximilian confirmed working with her, and Widowmaker and Moira not far behind if we follow the short story. She really has about half of Talon's inner group with her at this point, and a strong enough force to really begin shaking the world. With Vishkar and Max, she now basically controls Europe. The pieces seem to be finally falling into place, and it's time for Vendetta to make her move on Talon. I'm really excited to see where things are going to be going next. Vishkar has a new character, and Symmetra and Lifeweaver both have a new person to bounce off of. The spotlight seems to be the big moment coming up tomorrow where all this is going to finally connect, so I'm really excited to see where that goes, and hopefully we get to see more about Domina and Vendetta's relationship, and more just how their partnership is going to be working more in that spotlight in some way. But those are all my thoughts. Like I said, this one's a little bit quicker than usual because I wanted to get this out there before the spotlight. Obviously, wasn't expecting to make this week, so we're gonna be seeing how the spotlight goes tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy, and please let me know how you feel about Domina, Sanjay, and Vishkar in general finally getting back into the spotlight a bit more. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.